3 left. Myers has it. He blows right by. Gets to the three-point line. Gives it off to Miguel Arnold. Rises and fires. Miguel!
Welcome to the Dip Mitras Show. I'm Chad Cook. I'm your host, but the star of the show, of course, is Dip Mitras. He's in his 19th year as the head coach of Augusta University, and Coach Mitras has won over 500 games as a collegiate head coach. He's won over 73% of his games as the Jaguars head coach. He's got the number 2 ranked team in the nation after last year's national runner-up finish. And Coach, you led the team won 70-54 Sunday against Fayetteville State in the home opener. You're 3-0. What's on your mind today? We know you're going to board the bus in a little while. We're taping this on Tuesday morning. You're going to board the bus in a little while to go to Columbia to play Benedict. What's on your mind about the state of the team, today's game, and so forth?
Well, we knew going into the year that we were going to open up with like 5 out of our 6 on the road. We wanted to play good people. We always played Mount Olive Barton. We were able to play Fayetteville State. That was perfect for Coach Bryant's celebration. And to be 3-0 with 2 road wins, and we're staring at 3 more road games before we get and play again at home. But no, I'm pleased with the team, and you can fix problems when you're undefeated. And we've got a few issues, and we've been working on them pretty hard.
Yeah, the road concentration of road games early, was that by design or kind of like how it works when you're home and home with
teams? Yeah,
sometimes
sometimes it's home and away. Catawba, we haven't played before the pandemic. We played them in our place and actually beat us the year we lost in the regionals to Queens, up at Queens. So Darren and Tyree, those guys remember that game. And we just haven't been able to return the game. And Virginia Union reached out to me to schedule a game, which usually means you're good, okay? Benedict, same thing. We've been playing home and away for years, and we always play right before Thanksgiving. And they've got a good club. They're 2-1 right now, and it'll be a big challenge tonight.
I hate to correct you, but when we lost to Catawba, that was actually the year after the Queens defeat in the Sweet 16 because Tyshawn was playing in that Catawba game.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was his first home game.
Okay, that was the year that the national tournament got canceled. Yes, that's right.
Was.
That's right. Tyshawn's first home, because Miguel just told me he was working out. I think we got our rings that game, and then we got beat really bad. So
Aaron and Tyvez were at that game.
Yes, You're right. So we got rings. I'm glad we gave the rings out earlier because we didn't have that happen. But no, you're right. We did. That was the year Tyshawn, and it was the year the national tournament was canceled.
Yeah. Yep. But that's a big game going up there next week. But got Columbia tonight.
Yes.
Okay, so. Now, we're going to do some Coach Said It.
Okay.
We did this last week, but I didn't really introduce it properly. The Coach Said It. This is things that you said right after Sunday's game, right after the most recent game, kind of live, raw, not having looked at the stats. So we're going to go back through what you said post-game, the highlights that are attached to that, and then get your take on it now that three or 4 days have passed.
Absolutely.
All right, so the first one's about your former boss, Clint Bryant, being honored. Let's, he was the athletic director of the university for 34 years. He was the head coach of the basketball team for the first 9 years of that 34-year stint. You were his assistant. Let's kind of look at the image of him being honored and then come back and get your take on him.
Okay.
Coach, huge crowd today, home opener. Your former boss being honored. Reaction from that?
Great crowd. I'm glad to see the former players come back. Special night for Coach Bryant. He deserves it. 34 years, long anywhere. Without him, I'm not the head coach. People don't realize in 1984 he saw me play in high school at the Beach Ball Classic. Called the coach at Belmont Abbey about him. That's how I got to college to play basketball. So without him, I'm not coaching in college because I'm not playing in college. But it meant the world to have everybody, former players, other people. I looked up, saw some people I hadn't seen in a number of years. And just happy for him. I hope the ceremony went well. I watched it on TV. Yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing the ceremony.
You said you watched it on TV.
Yeah, and I didn't. I saw all those guys during the night before. So that was neat. I didn't know that happened because I didn't really know.
Oh, you didn't know the players lined up?
I had no idea.
And that wasn't, I don't think.
No, that wasn't scripted. I can say that.
Scripted, right?
I remember saying we don't want people on the floor just because of playing surfaces.
Shoes.
So, no, that's great. And basically I knew every player. I either coached them or recruited them. So I knew everyone but one guy the other day at the brunch. And, he does. He means the world to me. And the videos during the game, before the game, I noticed them. They were from my wedding. Okay, so Coach Bryant did a reading in my wedding. Me and my wife always joke about I had colored socks on, typical Clint Bryant. But I looked up there and saw Jimmy Mack, who's one of my best friends from high school, and his wife Megan. And then also saw there was a picture up there of all the people that went to Belmont Abbey when I was in school that were at the wedding with Clint. So no, he's a great guy, and I'm glad it went well. And I talked to him that night. He called me. He texted me and some basketball things like he always does, and I talked to him the next day, and just happy to have him back. He's been hesitant to come back, and I saw him come up in warm-ups, and I think he came up and saw the guys and kind of talked to everybody. Some coaches would get mad about that because I'm not going to get mad. It's Coach Bryant. So I remember he was talking to almost every single player, and each player went over and shook his hand and talked to him for a minute. So great for him.
The women's basketball team right after the game made sure to get a group picture with him. Athletic director, kind of the coach of all the athletes over these years. We talked off camera about the fact that almost, maybe 60, 70% of all the guys who ever played for him came to the brunch Sunday morning, came to the game. You saw everybody out on the floor. It was
neat, and I talked to Brian Small, who played
first recruiting class.
Yes, the first recruiting class. I didn't remember Coach Brian the first year. I came Coach Brian second year, and Smalley texted me the next morning. He was at the airport, and I ended up calling him, and I asked him who told the most lies, and it was great that they were able to get together and honor Coach Bryant, and every one of those players has a story. It's just weird. I saw some guys literally I haven't seen in 15, 18 years.
Everybody has a story, and then there's all those little Coach Bryant things. First of all, let me just say, you mentioned it there, but you played at Belmont Abbey. Mm-hmm. Clint played at Belmont Abbey.
Yes.
Clint was a assistant coach at Clemson at the Beach Ball Classic in 1984.
Yes, 1984.
In 1984, and he sees your high school playing, and he calls the Belmont Abbey coaches, tell them they need to recruit you. Yep. One part about that kind of blows my mind is that's almost 40 years ago. The showcase type high school basketball thing that is everywhere now. That was even
the Beach Ball
Classic, like the original, right?
Yes, it was one of the. To be honest with you, it was one of the first kind of showcase tournaments. We had played in it. My high school coach was kind of progressive in his thinking. We played in it. I think it started in 1982.
And you were coming from where? Like Washington,
W.T. Woodson
area?
in Fairfax, Virginia. And ironically, for people, Michael Irvin won the dunk contest, okay?
Really?
Yes, he was in the dunk contest, and I do remember that my senior year. My junior year, we won it. We beat 3 number 1 teams. One with Kentucky. We beat Christ the King from New York City. We beat, I think it was Miami Senior High that Shaky Rodriguez was coaching. And then my senior year, we didn't win, but I played more. And Coach Bryant had recruited Tommy Amaker, who played at Duke the year before, so he just kind of came to the tournament like coaches do and saw me play. And, so ironically, yes, we've kept in touch, and it's all before cell phones. And, it's a different era of recruiting. But without him picking up the phone and calling Coach Payne, and ironically, the chief of referees, Mike Wood, Coach Payne passed away. Mike Wood attended the game. He's our supervisor officials. Mike Wood and Eddie Payne were best friends, and he was able to attend the ceremony as well. And I didn't realize until afterwards a lady named Terry Gronow, who's the vice president for Division II athletics, was there. I had no idea. She is basically the second person in charge, and Clint invited her, and she came down for the ceremony. He didn't tell me. He didn't tell anybody until I think Ryan, our new athletic director, realized. And he said, what's Terry doing here? So that was unbelievable, and I'm glad we made it happen for him.
Coach Bryant's a living legend, and then just hearing you describe all that, the fact that 38 years ago you were on that stage, as a player, man, you've been in the middle of high-level basketball for dang near half a century.
Yeah, a long time. Not to go into Sunday, but before my every home game, I look at how many games I've coached as a head coach.
How many?
And I think this was my 767th game as a head coach, because I always kind of looked, it's you get 500 wins, but I'm like, this is a lot of games I've been as a head coach, and it's kind of neat. I always reflect right before our first home game, because I'd always go tell Coach Bryant. I would sit down with him, watch the girls' game. I go, hey, this is number so-and-so. If it wasn't for him giving me this opportunity, I would never have been a head coach for this long.
That's great. Wonderful story. And I said there, Coach Bryant isms. One player who wasn't able to make it from California, Derek Stewart, and one of our best players to ever wear the uniform, and he is conspicuously absent from the retired Jersey club. There's about 4 or 5 guys, I think, and the reason is, and I hope Derek doesn't get mad at me for saying this, but he didn't graduate, for whatever reason. But the guys up there with their jerseys in the glass case all graduated, and that's one of those Coach Bryant.
Yeah, Coach Bryant. For years and years, he believed that. He just said, if you don't graduate, you're not going to retire your number. And Derek was in that situation. And to be honest with you, Garrett's in the same situation.
Garrett Seiler, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
And Garrett's working on his degree. So, it's something that he feels important. And you're right. You're here to get a college diploma. And we've been fortunate to hang banners. But if you're going to hang a uniform with your number on it, you have to separate yourself. And Coach Bryant always looked at those things. And I don't think it's an unrealistic standard. I really don't. And I think it's the right standard, to be honest with you.
Yep. Okay, well, that was fun talking about Clint.
Yes.
It probably went long, but,
Yes.
it's a fun topic. So we'll get into the players from Sunday's game. Tyshawn Crawford's dominance has been absolute in these first 3 games. I think picking up where he left off in the stretch run last season, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks Sunday after a couple monster performances in the opening weekend. Let's take a look at Tyshawn and get your reaction.
See that he missed a dunk, okay? That he hop-stepped to dunk it. It was going to tear the basket down almost. And I've never seen him do that, like in practice. And Dean Williams used to do it. He just kind of a hop step and went to dunk it, hit the back of the rim. Every time Tyshawn gets called for a foul or misses a shot or misses a dunk, it's like the other team won a championship. The crowd goes crazy. Tyshawn likes the attention of being a good player. He sometimes talks to the fans a little bit, but he's all in good spirits. And it's very hard to be big and people just pounding on you all game. And, defensively, he was really good. His rebounding. I remember in the second half of the Barton game, they called a foul on him. I'm like, really didn't foul. He just put 2 hands up there and they just threw a shot into him. But he's been really good. His passing is underrated.
Yeah, so I had to pull audio from the interview from last week's show because, stupid me, I didn't ask you about Tyshawn after the game, even though he was the star of the show. What a player.
He was really good. We know as coaches, the first thing we look at is how is somebody going to guard him, okay? And that's the first thing I always look at, who he guards and how they're going to guard him. And we didn't know if they were going to double. I coached against the head coach from Fayetteville at different stops, so it showed to go one-on-one against him. And our guys know if they're going to go one-on-one, he needs the ball. And, the best thing he's done, really, despite going over his other shoulder for the dunk, that was a great one, little face-up, his ability to go block shots. He altered a lot of shots. I think they gave him 3 blocks, but he alters so many shots. And what happens is the other team gets an ego about him, and they feel like, I'm going to work on this little floater. I'm going to make this floater. And it's hard to score over him, And, if we just go rebound when they throw it over top of him, that's our biggest concern. He's going to block it or cause a bad shot. We got to rebound it. But no, he was really good. He didn't get many assists, but he shouldn't. If they're playing him one-on-one, he should not pass the ball, okay? Like, if he's in the right position. And we had one late where he kicked it out to Tyree, and Tyree should have shot one, and he didn't. But for the most part, he was a force. In a game like that, he doesn't really need to come out. He's not in foul trouble, and, his conditioning is good enough, and the pace wasn't real wild, and because of injuries, we played him and Timmy together.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Timmy and Tyshawn not having to come out in a game like that, Timmy was a huge contributor off the bench last game. Got to play a little bit more, I assume, because Ja'Queze was
Yes.
not available. Now, let's hear what you have to say about Timmy post-game and see some of his action, then we'll come back and talk. Timmy Sellers, his contribution off the bench was key tonight, right?
Huge. Kirby's out with an ankle injury. Beatty picked up a couple fouls. We played Tyshawn and Timmy together. We're not real good offensively, but Timmy did a good job defensively. And Timmy's like the ultimate teammate. Like, he backed up Tyshawn, didn't play the second half of the last game we played, but came out and gave us great minutes. Doesn't hang his head.
Yeah.
But I was happy for him. Made a great offensive rebound finish. So hopefully we'll keep him playing. We're clogged up offensively with him in there just because him and Tyshawn play the same spot. But, our guards are good. Yeah. And, we weren't great tonight, but, we have a pretty important player over there with us.
Yes.
And he provides so much energy for us.
Yeah.
But, all in all, I was pleased. Well, yeah, I'll to go back to Coach Bryant. Coach Bryant used to always say, as
when I would work for him, if you're sitting on the bench and you're worried about why you're not playing and what's causing you not to play, you don't play well. Timmy doesn't. He's over there. He sits his last side of the bench. That's where he sits. And I just kind of point, and he goes in there. And we haven't played him and Tyshawn much together just because of other guys' abilities. But he kind of went in there and just did a great job. And it's funny, I heard on the block somebody yell, "Yeah, Timmy!" Like Timmy's like the favorite, okay?
Fan favorite.
Yeah, favorite for a guy who doesn't really.
I think especially with the female basketball teams.
Yes,
stuff like that.
yes, for a couple different reasons.
Okay.
But no, he is a fan favorite because people like Timmy.
Yeah.
You can literally go the whole day and not see Timmy. Okay, he's a good student. He's an accounting major. He handles his business. When Timmy texts me, it's never anything that's not true. Like he's going to tell me exactly what Timmy, why this occur, and when he responds, he's very businesslike, and he was good. He's been good. It's not fun guarding Tyshawn every day in practice, okay? And he does it, and one of the reasons is it's hard, and he's gotten better playing against Tyshawn. So when he gets in a game, he's not playing against a 7-foot guy. So, no, we're really excited about him, and he's a big piece for what we do. People don't remember he got hurt last year. He got hurt in the conference semifinals, and I remember kept saying, this is going to eventually catch up to us. Well, we were able to stay out of foul trouble, until the last game. Then we were playing really small. So it was going to eventually catch up with us, and we were just fortunate it didn't catch up to us the last game of the year.
Yeah, so Timmy Sellers, 6'8", junior.
Yes, junior.
Yeah,
yes,
hopefully.
Yep.
And he, he's from Glen Hills High School. We all know him here so well from his childhood. We watched him improve. He plays behind Tyshawn, which is a hard way to get minutes. Yep. But he transferred from Charleston Southern, a Division I school. He's a very capable player. He's highly recruited out of high school. You wanted him out of high school.
Absolutely.
And he, I had this thought. Tell me what you think. He could start on most Peach Belt teams. Most Peach Belt teams would be upgraded with him at center.
Yes, and Timmy's gotten better. When he first got here, now he had you see his sleeve, he had knee surgery again this summer, so he's dealing a little bit with a meniscus issue. But no, Timmy is like when he first got here last year, before we started playing, he had gotten beat out, and it kind of lit a fire on him. But he hit, come off the pandemic year, so he wasn't a flow. But man, once he's taken that thing, he's good. He's an important piece. He went from a non-communicator defensively to a guy that does a great job of communicating and takes a lot of pride in what he does. He also understands what he is. He's never going to shoot a 15-foot jump shot. He's never going to try to do things, except every once in a while in practice he'll break out something on me. But I think I told him, I can't remember what I called him one day because he's out there trying to be a ball handler. Well, yeah. So, but no, he's very, very important for our success.
You mentioned his communication on defense. That gets us into our next thing. Last year. By the way, so you held your first three opponents to 35% field goal. Last year for the season it was 39. It was a great performance last season, so it's trending even better so far this year. It's a staple of the team. For about a year or last year, I was always thinking to myself, I should do a story about who's the best defender because I feel like we have. You might disagree with one guard, but we kind of have 5 great defenders, 6 great defenders, and so let's check out a couple clips. But my question on the way back is as far as body of work, Darren Lucas White and Tyree Myers for a career. Have you ever coached better defenders? Will be the question when we come back.
Yes, Darren was dynamite rebounding late. That's the ones Kirby usually gets. So he went there and got rebounds. Yeah, I think the first half, I think, shot 44%. Tyree came over to me 3 minutes ago in the first half and said, Coach, they're hitting tough shots. We're fine. Let's just keep contesting them. Those tough shots didn't fall, and then Tyshawn was huge around the basket getting rebounds. So, yeah, like I said, it wasn't a good flow. You want to speed them up. Without Kirby, and Vinny getting foul trouble, we couldn't get too crazy on him.
All right, what do you think about those 2 guards?
You're right. Great defenders. There's never a time do I go into a game and go, who are they guarding? Okay. One of the other perimeter guys I do. Okay. So with those 2, I never worry about who they're guarding. They both can guard a point guard. They both can guard off the ball. In terms of ball screen defense, they're phenomenal the way they turn their bodies. And they're a big influence because it starts out front. When we put good heat on the ball, Tyree's able to expend some more energy out there guarding the ball, it really excites everybody. And no, they're just great defenders and smart defenders, really smart defenders. And they get mad when guys break down defensively, especially our posts or don't recognize the ball screen coverage. But no, they're good defenders, and they've been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
They just know each other. They know each other's instincts. I'm not a big switching guy. I don't like switching things, but I see those guys do it all the time. I trust them because they're never going to put their teammates or themselves in a bad situation.
You mentioned ball screen defense with those guys and the way they turn their bodies. I can tell. I always hear you yelling ice. Yeah. And so many teams ball screen basically from a wing going into the middle, and they do their best to stop that, right, and send it towards baseline.
I call them get into their body. They put their arm bar on people. They do a great job, and they've actually taught our other guys to do it, some of our younger guys. It's not easy to do. It starts with the post being communicating, but the guards got to turn his bodies and get contact, and they're good at it, and they've done it their whole career. We started that their freshman year, and we get a little confused on our middle ball screen jovers because they want to keep guarding their guy, and sometimes you just can't do it the way people run things. But no, they're really good defenders, and they're just good basketball players. They really are.
For sure. Okay, so now one person we didn't talk about post-game and we haven't seen up here on the screen is Ja'Queze Kirby, the super sophomore from Hazelhurst, Georgia, Jeff Davis High School. He's taken the city by storm. He's the talk of the town. In the first 2 away games, he came up with 3 dunks that I would say nobody's ever seen, or at least 2 that nobody's ever seen. In the exhibition game a week before that at home, 2 dunks that just brought everybody out of their seats. So I've been saying 5 ESPN top play-worthy dunks in 3 games, but he's also a great player, shoots over 50% from the 3. Ja'Queze was dealing with an injury Sunday, wasn't able to play, but you brought him along today, so we get to talk to Ja'Queze. And Ja'Queze, my first question is, how are you? How's your ankle doing? How you feeling?
My ankle is doing better. It's a process, but it's getting back right. I'm getting it back together.
Yeah. Now, how are you feeling in general? Your second year here in Augusta, you had so much success last year, started off with a ton of success this year. It seems like there's a ton of excitement around the team. How are you feeling about your stay here in Augusta?
I love it. I love it here. The fans, the love that everybody shows, the crowd, it's a lot of love here.
It's neat to see a smile on your face and hear you say, I love it, because we love having you. Is this, do you feel like this is your new home?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
I'm going to add something because he's not a self-centered person, okay? And, I told my wife, other people, he's been our best player in practice, okay? And Tyshawn's been dynamite. In practice, he's been our best player. And he's more committed to it. He's spending more time in the gym, and we hate to have an injury. But in a weird way, I think it might help him later in the year just because he's now seeing some things. Even on the bench the other day, I heard him say a couple of things that he's mentally in tune now better than he ever has been.
You mentioned him, Ja'Queze, not being a me person. I texted you after that exhibition game because when he caught that reverse dunk alley-oop, he swung off the rim and catapulted himself back on defense. I've never seen a guy come off of a play like that and sprint back on defense as resolutely as he did. And then when he got the over-the-back call, which everybody agrees was a terrible call, and the most amazing dunk we've ever seen, he looked, processed the call for about a half a second, and then sprinted back on defense. Ja'Queze, celebrating isn't a thing you do on the court?
I'd rather just get back and play some defense.
Has it always been that way? Kirk Munsack, a great friend of mine, Dr. What do you call him? Dr. Kirk in Hazelhurst. He told me, or he commented on a social media post recently that you've been doing that stuff since the 8th grade.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
true?
That's true.
You've been doing those kinds of dunks. Maybe not exactly, but you've been dunking, bringing everybody out of their seats since the 8th grade.
Yes, sir.
I tell you one thing I'm going to add in there because I do remember this. When he got the steal in the exhibition game, I think somebody pointed out, his eyes lit up. Like, he got the steal. I'm like, first thing I said to myself, I'm like, okay, what is getting ready to happen? That's exactly what I thought. Because his eyes kind of lit up like, And I think he got fouled on that one, if I remember correctly. If the guy doesn't foul him, I don't even want to know what was going to occur. What was going to occur?
I was probably going to try to go between the legs. I ain't even going to lie.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Yes, because I could see it in
Even
his
when
eyes.
you saw the guy coming?
Oh, yeah, I was going to
gonna-
Yeah, if he didn't come up and try, I was going to try it. I was going to
That's what I'm afraid was going to happen. That's what I could saw when he got to steal. I looked in his eyes. I'm like, oh, what is he going to do? Because very rarely does he have a breakaway like that. Like it's usually in traffic or off a cut. And when he got the breakaway, I'm like, oh, what are we going to do here? So.
Well, even that steal, if I remember right, he had to chase that thing down.
Yes,
and just
yes.
the getting the ball was an athletic feat.
Yes.
Yeah, you make our jaws drop on a regular basis. I forgot we were going to play this at the beginning of the conversation, but let's play it now. Let's look at those 5 ESPN top play worthy dunks from Ja'Queze already this season.
In the basket, got to send help now. The ball's under, it's loose. And the Trojans got to do exactly that. Pull the open trigger and hit your shots.
There's a big flush. Long rebound into the hand of Arnold. He'll push things up. Shot is missed. Oh, what a reverse dunk.
You know, I could watch that stuff all day. Number one, we gotta educate Dip on what a windmill is. That give and go with Tyshawn.
Yeah.
That wasn't
not a
quite a windmill, right?
Yeah,
It was
that wasn't a windmill. I heard him say it.
impressive.
I heard him say it.
Yeah. But you know, and the other thing somebody pointed out to me when Miguel tried to finish with his left, he actually got that shot blocked, somewhat. Got it deflected off the glass. And my son said it. He said he got his shot pinned, and Ja'Queze picked it up and dunked it backwards. And then that loose ball dunk. Dip and I, have you ever?
I've never seen that one.
Has a ball ever been deflected up into the air and you jump up, catch it, and dunk it?
I've never done that before.
Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it.
That makes 3 of us. That makes 3 of us. Do you ever surprise yourself? I know you've been doing this since the 8th grade, but do you ever throw one down and be like, oh my goodness?
Yeah, I do. Every the one that behind the back that give, I don't know how I caught that at all.
Well, I'll tell you, there was a little play I saw this summer that kind of involved a guy cutting from the corner. And one day we ran in practice, I didn't like it. Well, it just happened in the game right there. I said, well, Kirby will cut, but I didn't expect Miguel to him reverse it and go behind his head like he did. So, no, he's like I said, he's done some in practice that his express doesn't change. He really doesn't. And he just he does get back on defense. He might swing a little bit, but a lot of times he's swinging to get his momentum to go back. So
Yeah. There's one at Columbus State from last year that it's like, oh, you remember that one? The one-hander off the glass.
Yeah.
Can I say something bad about him? That was the only good play he had that game.
I don't
That
know.
was the only
Hold
one.
on. Let's
That
get
was
the
the-
committee together.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I
Speak your
believe
mind,
it.
Coach.
I believe, that's a true statement.
Yeah,
That was
but
the
what'd you
only
say?
one.
That was the only good play he had that game. Yeah, we didn't play well.
At Columbus.
Yes.
That wasn't our finest day, but hey,
He
nobody's
remembers
perfect.
that. He remembers that.
Yep.
Big time.
All right. Well, so Dip, by the time people see this, they'll be wanting to hear that you were successful in Columbia Tuesday night against Benedict. And then they'll be looking forward to next Wednesday when you go to Catawba against a, what do we call that, a SAC team, a very good one. And then you've got Virginia Union on the road after that, and eventually you'll make your way back home on December 8th for Education Day, which is a special day. I know it means a lot to you. So, if you can take all that and say, what does the team need to do to be successful to keep this 3-0 record on the right track, and then tell us about Education Day and how people can get involved and come see the team play.
So obviously we've got some road games coming up. Catawba, and Virginia Union. Virginia Union is great for our guys from the D.C. area because their families can come. We always get good food on the way home from Darren's mom and Tyree's mom. So that's always a neat thing for us. But, the education game, we haven't done for 2 years now. We've met, and if I get my number right, there's 2,174 fifth graders in Richmond County schools. And if their attendance in school that day, they come to the game. I think there's 33 or 32 elementary schools. Every fifth grader comes. Years ago when we started this, it was good behavior for fifth graders, and it just became an issue, so they just put everybody on the bus now. So it's a neat event. It's 11 o'clock, and the last time we played it, we made Sports Center on the other side because Give Emmanuel hit a 30-footer to win the game. So I think that was Tyree and them's sophomore year, maybe Tyshawn's first year.
It was a couple games after that Catawba game.
Yes.
Miguel made a 3 to tie it or put us up, one
I
or
think,
two.
something. Yes. So it's a neat event. In Queensboro National Bank is sponsoring it this year, which is great. We'll have some T-shirts for our players to wear, and they'll give to the students afterwards, our cheerleaders, the people working the game. It's kind of a neat experience, and I'm glad we're able to bring it back because of the pandemic. We couldn't do it, and I'm going to make a push because it's 11 o'clock start, and it's kind of weird because people are working, so we'll get some campus community people to come as well, and it's one of my favorite events of the year. We started this with a vision, me and Coach Bryant, and the first year we didn't think it was going to work, and it's kind of been perfect. And without Richmond County and Queensboro Bank, it couldn't be pulled off.
Did we say the opponent?
We played Bowie State.
Is it Bowie State?
Yes. We played Bowie State, and they love it because they can get on the bus and go home at 1 o'clock. Because we made that trip last year. It's a long trip, and so it works out perfectly for them. And it's like I said, it's a neat event, and it's just a special event because I ran into a kid this summer that basically said, "Hey, I was at that game 3 years ago." So it gives an opportunity for people to come to a game that usually don't get a chance to come to a game for free.
Random thought in my head. The last time we had that game, the mayor was at that game as well.
Yes. And hopefully, actually, the Richmond County's Teacher of the Year is an Augusta University graduate, and she's a 5th grade teacher. So we're trying to get her there to present her something. And we've got other things going on with our literacy center and some other people in the community to really kind of reinvigorate it because we haven't done it for 2 years. And this is such a special event for everybody. You don't want to lose it. And I kind of know when the game is every year because it's on our reading days right before exams start. And I hope to have a great time. And more importantly, hope we get a win. And it was not fun that year when they hit a shot to win the game. The students didn't know the kids didn't know how to react.
Is that the only Education Day loss?
It's the only one we've lost, yes.
So, you mentioned reinvigorating Education Day. You've also reinvigorated the interest in the program in the community. 1,673 fans at the first home game. You'll get over 2,000 on Education Day. You got to love seeing the support.
Oh, it's great. And like I said, after the event, I texted numerous people that were involved in putting that thing together. And I said, man, it's really good for our players, okay? It's not for me. It's for those players. And, they deserve it. And, it's just nice to have that support from people. And like I said, the players appreciate it. That's the main thing. And nobody got mad at our gray uniforms. We both were brand new. Tyree told me to get gray uniforms. I said, okay, Tyree, we'll get them. So that's the first time I think I've worn gray in years. And we won, so I guess we'll wear them again. I
can't believe the refs let you wear white T-shirts under that.
I don't know the rule on that. That's
usually same color, but hey,
who
whatever.
knows?
I'm no ref. So if you want to get involved, first of all, before I tell everybody how to find tickets and stuff like that, that Education Day is probably free.
Yes, it's free. We didn't, because we're letting all the kids in free.
Coming in free.
It became like moot trying to get other people in trouble, and we just let the doors come in. Last year we did a free game. I think it was Claflin because we couldn't do the education game. We got right to the point where we were trying to make it work, but the pandemic was still going on. But hopefully we'll get people to come. I know it's a tough time, 11 o'clock, but for people that retired, and like I said, some people on campus, if I get their bosses, let them come over. I've got a couple groups already saying they're going to let their employees come over for an hour just to be part of it a little bit. Yeah. And it is neat. And some of the stuff we did the other day with a girl won a TV on the easiest shooting contest I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I think we better adjust that. I don't know what it was, but when she won it, I was kind of surprised.
She banged in a free throw at the last second. And the crowd went nuts.
It did. And then we saw some kids shooting at halftime. I mean, during the timeout, I kind of heard it. So all that will help. And it's, like I said, it's a great event.
Yeah. So, come December 8th, 11 a.m., Education Day. It's free. You've never seen anything like it. That's all I can say about that. You'll love it. The kids will be, every time a song comes on, the kids will be doing the latest dances. Jason Shearer on the PA will be having fun. It'll be great. Now, go to AugustaJags.com, buy season tickets. They're very affordable. Come out and watch the Jaguars if you aren't already. Go to AugustaJags.com as well to see all about the team, whether it be the schedule, the statistics, news items, reports from games. You can also follow Augusta University basketball on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Augusta MBB. And then on all the social media, you can follow athletics at Augusta University, Augusta Jags, at Augusta Jags. We want to thank Get Up Productions for sponsoring, producing, filming, editing, marketing this show, the Dip Mitras Show. So Get Up Productions is a great group. They produce the Drop the Disc podcast along with many other notable shows here in the Augusta area. So you can find them at getupproductions.com. You can find them. I follow them on Instagram at getup.productions. So that's how you get in touch with them. And then the Dip Mitras Show itself, it's at Dip Mitras Show on YouTube. And so, you might already be watching it on YouTube. If so, hit like, hit share, send it to your, basketball loving friends. And then you can also listen to the show on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. I think I introduced myself today at the beginning. I'm Chad Cook. I'm the host, but this is Dip Mitras, our star, and thank you for being a part of this.
We appreciate it, Chad. And we got some good feedback from the first show, and I think it'll grow and continue now that we got Curb on there and telling his.
It's going to blow up.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the legend from Hazelhurst.
Ja'Queze, thank you for being with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck getting better, and good luck in the upcoming games. Thank you.